Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Astottara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Astottara Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki. Shri Mathura Dham Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Tulasi Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Naranayam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Vidirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Praisa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Good morning. Today we are continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 60, and we're going to do text 35. Satyam Bayadiva Gunebhya Urukramanta. Shete Samudra Upalambana Matra Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Tvatseva Karnripapadam Vidutam Tamondam. Satyam Bayad Iva Ganebhya Urukramanta. Shete Samudra Upalambana Matra Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Tvatseva Karnripaparam Vidutam Tamondam. Satyam Bayad Iva Gunebhya Urukramanta. Shete Samudra Upalambana Matra Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Tvatseva Karnripapadam Vidutam Tamondam. Seva Karnripapadam Vidutam Tamondam. Satyam Bayadiva Gunebhya Urukramanta. Shete Samudra Upalambana Matra Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Tvatseva Karnripapadam Vidutam Tamondam. Satyam Bhayadiva Gunebhya Ukrumanta. Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krishna Vigrahasva. Kadindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Vatseva Karni Papadam Vidutam Damondam. Satyam Bhayadiva Gunebhya Urukramanta. Te Samudra Upalambana Matra Atma. Nityam Karindriya Ganai Krita Vigrahastvam. Vatseva Papadam Vidutam Tamondam. Word for word, meanings. Satyam, true. Bhayat, out of fear. Iva, as if. Gunebhya, of the material modes. Urukrama, O you who perform transcendental feats. Antaha, within. Shete, you have lain down. Samudre, in the ocean. Upalambana matra, pure awareness. Atma, the Supreme Soul. Nityam, always. Kat, bad. Indriya Ganai, against all the material senses. Krita Vigraha, battling. Twam, you. Twat, your. Sevakai, by the servants. Nripa, of a king. Padam, the position. Vidutam, rejected. Tamaha, darkness. Undam, blind. Translation. And this is Rukmini talking or speaking to Lord Krishna. Yes, my Lord Urukrama, you lay down within the ocean as if afraid of the material modes, and thus in your pure consciousness you appear within the heart as the Supersoul. You are always battling against the foolish material senses, and indeed even your servants reject the privilege of royal dominion, which leads to the blindness of ignorance. Please repeat. Yes, my Lord Urukrama. You lay down within the ocean as if afraid of the material modes, and thus in pure consciousness You appear within the heart as the supersoul. You are always battling against the foolish material senses. And indeed, even your servants reject the privilege of royal dominion. Which leads to the blindness of ignorance. Purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In text 12, Lord Krishna said, Rajabhyo Bibhyata Subru Samudram Sharanam Gatan. Out of fear of the kings, we took shelter in the ocean. Here Srimati Rukmini Devi points out that the actual rulers of this world are the gunas, the material modes of nature, which impel all living beings to act. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that because Lord Krishna fears that his devotee will come under the influence of the modes of nature and become entangled in sense gratification, he enters the internal ocean of their hearts, where he remains as the omniscient supersoul, Upalambana Matra Atma. Thus he protects his devotees. The word Upalambana Matra also indicates that the Lord is the object of meditation for his devotees. In text 12, Lord Krishna also said, Balavadbi Krita Dveshan. We created enmity with the powerful. Here Srimati Rukmini Devi points out that it is the material senses which are actually powerful in this world. The Supreme Lord has taken up the battle against sense gratification on the part of his devotees, and thus he is constantly trying to help them in their struggle for spiritual purity. When the devotees become free of unwanted material habits, the Lord reveals himself to them, and then the eternal loving relationship between the Lord and his devotees becomes an irrevocable fact. In the same verse, Krishna stated, Tyakta Nripasanan. We renounce the royal throne. But here Srimati Rukmini Devi points out that the position of political supremacy in this world usually implicates so-called powerful leaders in darkness and blindness. As the saying goes, power corrupts. Thus, even the Lord's loving servants tend to shy away from political intrigue and power politics. The Lord himself, being completely satisfied in his own spiritual bliss, would hardly be interested in occupying mundane political positions. Thus, Srimati Rukmini Devi correctly interprets the Lord's actions as evidence of his supreme transcendental nature. Omagyanna Timurandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Rena Putale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadapikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajina Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanpitam Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopisha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshri Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhisya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning for Bhagavatam class. Please say a prayer for me that I can say something useful and help get some light into this verse. I'm just going to read the verse again. Yes, my Lord Urukrama, you lay down within the ocean as if afraid of the material modes, and thus in pure consciousness you appear within the heart as the supersoul. You are always battling against the foolish material senses, and indeed, even in your servants reject the privilege of royal dominion, which leads to the blindness of ignorance. So in this verse we have Rukmini Devi speaking with Lord Krishna. And previously, in this pastime, we have Lord Krishna reclining on a bedstead or sitting on a bedstead, being fanned by Rukmini and maidservants, and Krishna, desiring some spice in his life, tries to have some friendly banter with his beloved, kind of poking fun at her, saying, "Oh, you don't really need me, you're better off without me," and all these different things, saying his disqualifications for being a suitable husband and so on and so forth, to get some sort of reaction out of Rukmini Devi. But the reaction that he gets is she gets devastated and starts crying, and she's heartbroken, and Krishna's like, "Oh no, that's not what I wanted." But so then he tells her, that he was just doing it to get a reaction out of her, just as, of some loving play. And then she kind of, she comes to peace, and she's like, okay. And then she starts replying to all of his the disqualifications, if you will, that he says about himself. So in this verse, she's replying to text 12, where Lord Krishna is saying, I'll read the text, Rajabhyo bibhyata subru samudram sharanam gatan balavad krita dvesha prayaschakta nirpasanan. Terrified of these kings, O lovely browed one, we took shelter in the ocean. We have become enemies of powerful men, and we practically abandoned our royal throne. So I'm going to read some of the tikas from the acharyas that'll help illuminate this further. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Krishna said, "Out of fear of the kings, I took shelter in the ocean, building a house, Saranam there." Rukmini Devi says, "That is true, O most powerful one, Urukrama. You actually have no fear. You seem to have fear of the sense objects, such as sound, gunabhya, which are kings because they control. Since the devotees have fear of these sense objects, and you are dependent on your devotee, out of that fear you reside within the devotee hearts, which are deep like the sea. What is the proof that I reside there? You, Paramatma Atma, are perceived there through your form, taste, fragrance, sound, and touch, upalambana matra. Your beauty and other qualities are perceived by your devotees through meditation. This is understood from statements of Brahma and the Nava Yogendras. O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound, through the holes of the ears accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts. The devotees bind your lotus feet in their hearts with ropes of love." And I'm not exactly sure what that's from. It says Pranayara Rasanaya Drita 11:2-5. Krishna said, "I made enemies of many strong warriors." Rukmini replies, "You battle with the senses of your devotees, which are longing for material enjoyment, in order to deliver them from the sorrow of material life. In the beginning, the sadhaka realizes a little of your sweetness through meditation, but does not see you directly. It appears that you enter their hearts and go to sleep as if out of fear of the sense objects. When the devotee's devotion increases and he conquers the enemy senses, he loses his attachment for the sense objects. Then it appears that you wake up and rise, make yourself visible to the devotee, and give him your full sweetness. And then Krishna says, I have given up the throne. Yes, that is quite proper. Your servants also give up royal positions because it gives rise to complete loss of discrimination. If they do so, what to speak of you? By the reference to the servants here, it can be understood that the previous statements of this verse are in relation to the Lord's devotees, not the Lord. The Lord does not fear or battle with the senses, but does so in relation to the devotee. I'm going to read Sanatana Goswami's purport. It is true you rest internally. Why? Because of fear of the gunas. Why? You fear being touched by the faults of matter situated outside. But this is only apparent, eva. Actually, you are not afraid of being touched by the gunas. You have great prowess, urukrama. Gunabhya also refers to kings, since the kings use 6 gunas or strategies in ruling. You oppose the material senses which are strong. Thus you, Atma, situate yourself internally as the perceiver only. The form of pure knowledge, upalambana matra. Atma is used to show respect. Or, Bhavan can be implied from the previous verse. In this case, Atma means yourself or the antaryami. The word satyam, it is true, is understood the later statements as well. You oppose with the material senses or persons like Narakasura, absorbed in sense enjoyments, since they cause suffering. Or they oppose you, since they do not respect you. In verse 12, Krishna mentioned that he made enemies with the strong. Kingdoms are rejected by your servants, those engaged in serving you with devotion, since they are also situated internally and oppose the material senses, because great evil arises by lack of internal vision with focus on external enjoyment. They reject kingdoms because the kingdoms create enjoyment for the senses. There's also purports by Jiva Goswami, but I'm just going to back up a little bit here. So when Krishna is talking to Rukmini, he's saying in text 12, he's fearful of the kings, and that's why he ran into the ocean and ran to Dwarka, because he was afraid. And that's not true. But Rukmini Devi, Krishna is not afraid of the material energy. He's the controller of everything. He's the controller of the material energy. She's kind of poking fun of him, like, oh yeah, you ran away, you're afraid. But it's not like that. He's kind of making. She's making this. She's saying that the Lord lies down, within the heart of the devotees. He's not affected by material nature, but he lays down within the heart of the devotees. And when the devotee, recognizes the Lord and is trying to conquer these senses and overcome the senses, then the Lord wakes up and, I don't want to say gives you a little bit of juice, but there's some sort of peace in your heart. It's like we hear about this, the Lord being in the heart as a witness. They're using the word antaryami, which means a witness, the internal witness. So the Lord is within our heart witnessing, in a lot of the Prabhupada's books, they have this this example of birds. I just wanted to read that example. There's so many examples in his book, but here's one. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and the conditioned living entities who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are strewn within the material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. As Paramatma, an eternal friend of the living entities, the Lord, by one of his plenary portions, accompanies the living entities to guide them in their material enjoyment, and to become witness to all activities. While the living entities enjoy the material conditions, the Lord maintains his transcendental position without being affected by the material atmosphere. In the Vedic literature, Shruti, it is said that there are two birds in one tree. One of them is eating the fruit of the tree, while the other is witnessing the actions. The witness is the Lord, and the fruit eater is the living entity. The fruit eater, living entity, has forgotten his real identity and is overwhelmed in the fruit of activities of the material conditions, but the Lord Paramatma is always full in transcendental knowledge. That is the difference between the supersoul and the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, the living entity, is controlled by the laws of nature, while the Paramatma, or the supersoul, is the controller of the material energy. So just to go back to the verse, in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out, and in the BBT purport, that the Lord enters the internal ocean of the heart. So he's already there, he's there, he's witnessing. But it's like when you start to take to the process of Krishna consciousness and start chanting the Lord's name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then it's like you're, and I'm going to use this example because I overheard somebody using it yesterday, but it's like you're kind of flipping a light switch on, saying, oh, hello, the Lord's here, okay. Then you can be in contact with the Lord. And with the kings that the Lord was opposed to, that he made enemies with, they were controlled by the material senses. They're controlled by the material energy. And that has nothing to, that is not really being in connection with the Lord. Being in connection with the Lord is trying to serve the Lord, trying to please the Lord. And these kings were not doing that. They're obsessed with material energy, how to get more, how to get this. And the devotees are trying to take shelter within the heart, taking shelter of the supersoul, the Lord within. And in the verse it's saying, Rukmini saying, your servants reject the privilege of royal dominion, which leads to the blindness of ignorance. And in the purport, it was saying, as a leading, talking about leaders today and darkness and blindness and ignorance and how power corrupts. And it's kind of like the same thing that's going on now. There's rulers and people in power trying to control this land, trying to control these people, trying to control this planet, this weather. They're trying to control everything to get some sort of pleasure or juice out of the material energy, which is not going to give them any juice. That's the whole point. The only thing that's going to give you real lasting pleasure and juice is trying to serve the Lord. And you have to start by serving the Lord in the heart. And and when you're doing that, as you're chipping away at all the crust, the lust and dust and crust all over your heart, then all these things become kind of disinteresting. Power, fame, land, money, prestige, all these things start to lose their interest. And I just had a little, sorry. But anyways, I wanted to bring up an interesting point. So, the point is we have to take shelter of the Lord in our heart. And how do we do that? As Hare Krishna devotees chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And as easy as it sounds, sometimes it's very difficult because your mind is thinking everything else is going to give me pleasure. Maybe if I do this, or change this situation, then I'll get pleasure. Or maybe if I adjust this temperature, or if I go here, then I'll get pleasure. But really the pleasure is within. And yesterday I had this experience where I wanted to go out and chant. And, a lot of chanting japa is just starting to chant. Your mind will be like, oh, I got to do this, you got this, there's this reason I can't chant, there's all these reasons you can't chant. And there really are, there's all these reasons. But once you get past that hurdle, it's like, oh my God, chanting, it's so blissful. So I went to the park nearby, and it took me 20 minutes to get out of the car just because I can't get out of the car, I can't chant, there's all these people out there, it's going to disturb me. It's like, once I got out of the car and just started chanting, it's like, oh my God, this is great. And I'm just walking around, hey, Hare Krishna, 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 waving to everybody. And everyone else is, I'm trying to tap into the internal juice, if you will. And everyone else, as I'm looking at everybody else's face, I'm not in everybody's heads, but I can see that everyone's distressed, like trying to figure out, okay, what do I got to do next? Worrying about the kid that's going to run, into the stream, dogs run. Everybody's kind of disturbed, but there's that real inner joy, just, okay, all these things are going on, but let me tap into that inner bliss of Krishna consciousness, that inner bliss where you're connecting with Krishna in the heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then everything starts to become peaceful. This world is insane. Everything is backwards, upside down. And pleasure is fleeting. But if we can just somehow begin to tap into that inner bliss, it's unfathomable, But we just have to work on that dirty heart that it's crusted over so many years. Anyways, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for any offenses.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Shobhaya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Jami
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adi Purusham Tamaham Jami
Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sundhyavadi Vaskachari Satarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Sunyavadi Vaskachari Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhan, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Don't the deities look beautiful today? Champakalata did a wonderful job. Jai. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amitasmaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midrishamaya Janina Anuraga Trinada Pisunichena Aurora Pisuhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadaram Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Raitaki Twai Ainanda Tanvijakikaram Patitam Mam Vishamebhavam Budao Gribhayata Vabhavata Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galarshu Daraya Varanam Gad Gaduradaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vabhukada